Gina and Ed Little are in studio there with the Red Kettle campaign of the Salvation Army, Rice County Salvation Army unit. They've already started ringing bells, but they need more bell ringers, right, Ed?
That's right.
Is that right, Gina?
It is.
Thanks for coming in today. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank
So
you
maybe we
for
could
having us.
explain now. Are you the co-chair or is Gina the co-chair?
She's in charge of the bell ringing.
Okay.
I'm co-chair with Sheriff Dunn of the service unit.
Okay. But you're in charge of the bell ringing.
I am in charge of the bell ringing.
And are you woefully short of bell ringers? You must be, because I went in the store the day after Thanksgiving and there was no bell ringer.
We are. So when you see those empty stands, it's because we don't have anybody signed up to ring the bell.
Yeah, that was sad. Because the day before, my good friend Randy Tweehoff was there ringing
Right.
bells.
Yep.
Yeah, Randy's a great guy. He's
Yeah,
signed up for several slots, actually.
I can believe that. Randy is a great guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yep.
And he said, Gordy, you better ring bells. And I said, I do every year.
You
Yeah.
do.
Usually Christmas Eve.
But
I know. Bad news is we're not ringing on Christmas Eve this year. We end our campaign at 8 o'clock on the 23rd, 8 p.m.
Last year, I did Christmas Eve, and I jumped on a plane Christmas Day and went to San Diego.
Oh,
no.
that
For the
was a
Holiday
good
Bowl.
reward.
The Gophers in the Holiday Bowl. There's no bowl this year. I won't be going to any bowl games this year over the holidays. So it looks like I'm going to be staying home.
All right.
So the 23rd will be the last day this year.
Yes. The last shift ends at 8 p.m. on the 23rd.
You can put me down for that, Gina.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank
Now,
you.
normally, are they 2-hour shifts? I couldn't remember.
They are normally 2-hour shifts.
That's what I thought. You could sign up for a double shift,
You
You
can
can.
sign up for a double shift.
like 4 until 8.
Absolutely.
That
We
day?
would love that.
You
That
can-
would be a triple shift.
You can put me. It's a triple shift.
Yes, because it's 6 to 8, 4 to 6. No, that would be a double shift.
Yeah, that's what I
I'm
thought.
sorry.
That's right. All right. So 4 until 8. You can put me down for 4 until 8 on the
I'll
23rd.
do that. Thank you so much.
Although you
Gordy.
probably want bell ringers that are capable of getting lots of people to put money in the kettle. When they see me, they go the other way.
Oh,
Well, we
No.
just want somebody to stand there and ring a bell and smile and
And that's
Yeah,
pretty
thank you.
simple. Pretty simple job.
yep.
Yep. I said that on a post promoting today's show. The ringing bells, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
right.
You
And
just-
it's just really about sharing Christmas joy.
Yep.
It's just the spirit of giving, and this is the season of giving, and giving to the Red Kettles gives year round. It's not just a one-time fix. It's
No.
88% of the funds raised in Rice County stay in Rice County. That's a significant amount of money when you look at fundraising, and the other 12% go to administrative costs, but that includes natural disasters. When there's flooding or a fire, those funds come back into our county. So a couple years ago when we had flooding and they were getting cleanup kits from the Salvation Army, those monies come from the Red Kettle. And so when our neighboring counties have flooding, we're actually giving to them. So it really is about sharing what we've been given and helping our neighbor in need.
I was talking to the sheriff here a week or so ago about the Salvation Army, and he said the store has been doing well
Yes,
out at the mall.
it is. We've got a good crew out there and been getting a lot of donations, and we say thank you for that. And now, in the next year, we look forward to maybe seeing some financial reward for that effort.
Yeah, it's taken a while to build the business, I know,
Yep.
but he said you're doing much better than when they first opened,
Yes.
which makes sense.
Yep.
And there's a lot of options in this community in that area,
Yep.
There are.
you know, thrift stores. So we're going to talk more with Ed and Gina specifically about what these dollars are used for, because I'm sure before you ring the bell, you kind of want to know those things. You kind of want to know that you're standing out there for a couple of hours raising money for a good cause, and I can assure you are, but we're going to get the details from Ed and Gina. When AM Minnesota continues, Ed and Gina Little are in studio today telling us all about the Salvation Army Red Kettle campaign. And I guess we could just hop to it here. Gina, the goal this year is
$50,000.
Wasn't that the goal last year?
It was. Came up a little short from our goal last year, and would like to really exceed the $50,000. So this year we've got some great news for this weekend. We have a match on Saturday. So for every dollar raised up to $2,500 will be matched.
Well, that's cool.
So,
Yeah.
That's very cool.
and
If you get somebody to do that every weekend, just think how you do in your campaign.
Yeah, well, I have one coming up on the 16th too, Gordy. That one's a $5,000 match. What's matched on Saturday?
So these are businesses that are doing this?
No, actually, they're individuals.
Well, how generous is that?
How exactly? I was just absolutely thrilled when I was contacted by both of them.
Well, that's very nice. I assume they want to remain anonymous.
Anonymous.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it, Ed?
Yeah, we're excited.
Should
First
be.
time that since I've been involved in my 9 years,
That you've
we've
had a match.
We've actually had matches for Rice County.
And, well, this is for the entire county, not just Faribault.
Correct.
You're talking Northfield, Lonsdale, and Faribault.
Right. They're both coming out of Faribault, so I would really love it if Faribault could really step up and show these individuals what we have. And it would be nice if the match came right out of Faribault.
It would be.
Mm-hmm.
So does Faribault lead the pack in bell ringing, or is Northfield kicking our tail, or what?
No, we're leading the pack. Faribault's leading the pack right now at this point. I don't have the numbers in from this
Sure.
weekend, but our first week, Faribault's a little ahead. It's pretty neck and neck.
And then, I mean, it would stand to reason. Those are the two bigger communities. Lonsdale is a
Correct.
smaller town.
Right. Lonsdale is actually doing really good. What they typically bring in, they have raised about 10% of what they bring in for the season already. Over 10%, actually.
Awesome. Way to go, Lonsdale.
So I'm pretty excited. Lonsdale's got some things going over there.
Yeah, a few years ago, I rang bells over there. That was fun.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
I didn't
nice
realize I
community.
knew so many people in Lonsdale till I rang bells over there.
Isn't that exciting?
Yeah, it was very cool. One of these years, I don't know if it's going to happen this year, but one of these years I'm going to do Northfield too.
All
That
right.
was
I think that would be fun.
Yep.
Which reminds me, if people listening from Northfield or Lonsdale would like to volunteer, they call the same number.
They call the same number. It's 507.
334-0639.
Ed has it memorized. I have to
He
look
does.
it up.
He just got that right off the top of his not so bald head.
Yeah.
I'm the one that has a bald head.
Well, I'm almost.
You're thinning. You're thinning. I'm completely gone. That could be read into more ways than one, couldn't it?
It could be.
Well, we don't have time for that today.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, Ed and Gina Little are with us from the Salvation Army campaign. So I'm sure a lot of people who are curious about ringing bells would like to know where those dollars go.
The dollars are used in Rice County. 88% of the funds raised in Rice County stay in Rice County. And those funds are used for emergency services such as gas vouchers, shelter costs, clothing, food, emergency prescriptions. I mean, maybe you don't have the funds to pay your copay and you really need medically necessary medication. We've been known to help with that. The HEAT program, we have Shop with a Cop that just happened in October, which was absolutely phenomenal when we can bless children with clothes for school, and some children received winter coats. We have camp in the summertime. Salvation Army owns a camp, Northwoods Camp, and so we're able to shuttle kids from Rice County to camp up in northern Minnesota, and I've had the honor and privilege to go for the last couple of years, and what a beautiful, beautiful facility, and very clean, very well run, well structured. It's absolutely a beautiful place, and kids have a fantastic time.
This is way up north.
It's up by Finelson, so it's kind of a drive.
I was going to say that's a bit of a haul.
Yeah, it's a couple of hours up there.
Ed gets to ride the bus with the kids. I drive up separate. So, but yeah, it's a beautiful place. We also have a visiting program where we go and visit and provide root beer floats to elderly. in nursing homes and care facilities. It's just an opportunity for us to visit with them and share with them and just provide some fellowship.
Who doesn't like root beer floats?
I don't know. Not too many.
So, I mean, those are how the dollars are used. Always there's certain things that come up periodically that people need help with, and it just kind of depends if it falls in that.
I do remember over the years, our church has helped people that have stopped up on the hill and on their travels through town and asked for some gas money, and
right.
Of course they're checked out a little bit, and then
Yep, Salvation Army provides gas vouchers. We do. We have a case manager that works 2 days a week, but that doesn't mean that the vouchers aren't shared the rest of the time. The phone you call, we get phone calls all the time. Jan Karsh is our field rep from the Salvation Army, and she calls frequently and asks if I can meet with somebody. So check it out. Check out the story. And that's the thing, is that we do check out things to make sure that it's not just a story.
right.
Because we really do take the funds that are given to the Salvation Army very seriously, and we want to use those appropriately, how we've told our donors, all of you that have put money in the Red Kettle, that we use those wisely and smartly.
And you and I, Ed, are just a medical happening away from being in the same boat.
Yeah. And it has happened.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. We've
Right.
been there.
I think we have the opportunity to bless so many people, and the thing about the Salvation Army is not just to fix the Band-Aid. It's really about the Salvation Army is really about saving people's salvation, and where are they going? And not always do you pray with people, but there is that opportunity. Do you have the opportunity to pray if they want to pray with them? We do. And really about being what Christ has called us to do. And it seems wise during this season of giving to just look at our neighbor and how they can be helped. I just look at some of the kids that come to camp, and I look at some of the families that we've served. It's pretty bleak when you have children come to camp that aren't feeling valued and loved, and have a whole new experience and find people that really care about them, and you watch them come from these scared little kids to then crying on Thursday or Friday morning when it's time to come home. And I don't want to go, I want to stay here. And it's really nice. It's really fun to watch them just mature in a week. And our families that we serve in our community, when there's a crisis, we really are, Gordy. We are just a flip of coin away from some of the devastating things that we see. And sometimes it's the choices we make, but sometimes it's not. It's the choices that were made for us. And you have to respond to those. And the Salvation Army is one area that can help respond to those needs. And whether it be a gas voucher to get back and forth to work, I mean, why would we want to, in our community, stop somebody from working because they don't have the gas to get there? Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. It's like, yes, we'll pay for your gas to get back and forth to work.
Yeah, I know we've had some cases at our church where, maybe an elderly person needed some help through a period of time to make their house payment or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a place to live, or maybe food for groceries and that sort of thing.
Right, absolutely.
Salvation Army help with that.
Help build the bridge. The funds are really used to build a bridge.
So we're all that close, folks, to being in the same boat. Why not help others?
Exactly. And like you were talking about the store earlier, we've only got like 4 or 5 employees, and the rest of that is all volunteer help. And so if people are saying, look, you've had the store there now 4 or 5 years, how come it's just now embracing me? Then it's all money that we make plows back into the business, and we're not getting money from any other source other than what we you know, put what we raise through the store. So the Kettle money is a whole separate arm from the store. So what the store is doing, that money is completely separate from the Kettle.
Oh, okay.
The social worker that we have has her office at the store, but she's only spending Kettle money. And her wages are coming out of the other 12% as part of that. So it's just because it says Salvation Army and we've got red kettles in town doesn't mean it's all. We're one happy family, but we're brothers and sisters. And
so none of these funds raised, if I'm hearing you right, go to the store.
that is
Correct.
correct.
The Red Kettle campaign.
Correct. The funds that are put in the Red Kettle are used for emergency services and programs. They are not used for wages.
And you'll spend that $50,000?
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
We had $43,000 last year, and we spent that before the end of our financial year. So we were short this year, and so you can't do as much. People were asking, why aren't you doing this and why aren't you doing that? It's because we didn't raise the funds in order to provide those perks. They're perks. I mean, we have to cut budget. If you don't have the money, you have to cut your budget. And we had to do that. And it was painful. It was a painful conversation. We're hoping this year that we raise our $50,000. One of the things the Salvation Army has in the past, is provided backpacks for kids for the back to school campaign. And that's one of the areas where we had to pull back. We didn't have enough finances to pay for that and provide emergency services. It was one or the other. And so it was a painful decision. And we're really hoping and praying that this year we don't have to make those kind of decisions, that our community steps up and helps us meet the $50,000 goal, because the needs are there.
And that's a county-wide goal.
It's a county-wide goal.
Northfield,
Right.
Lonsdale, Faribault, total $50,000.
Correct. And in Lonsdale typically raises around $2,000, which is fantastic. That's fantastic. And this year I know that they have already raised over 10% of their goal. I kind of put a goal for them at $2,000, but Faribault, I'm thinking Faribault is $30,000. We look at more in Faribault. Northfield has the Northfield Community Action Center, and we kind of do the same work. But Faribault doesn't have a Faribault Community Action Center. They have the Rice County Salvation Army.
There's one spot in Northfield, right, to ring bells?
There's two. There's Cub Foods and Econo Foods in Northfield. In Faribault is Hy-Vee, Fairway, and Walmart North and South. And in Lonsdale is
Mac and Thunes.
Mac and Thunes. I'm still old school and remember it from the old names.
I know, Fred's.
Yep.
Yeah. Fred got out of the business.
Yes, he did. So.
Well, it's very nice that they were. I know I had a good time when I was up in Lonsdale a couple of years ago. Then it was Fred's.
Yeah. It's very joyous. It's just joyous. You can ring the bell with your kids, with your grandkids, maybe with just your girlfriends. We had a cousin ringing this weekend and a friend ringing. They rang together, and when Ed it was time to pick up the kettle, he came home and he said they were having so much fun. There was so much joy. He said he didn't want to really take the kettle down because they were having so much fun. And people were just energized by that. So the cheer, the Christmas cheer that you're sharing and your joy, it changes our community. It changes the outlook. And somebody might be having a really dark day, and you have the opportunity while you're ringing the bell to change their day and to give them hope.
Well, let's say Christmas Eve is a good time to ring because everybody seems to be in a more festive spirit, I think.
Yep.
They probably
Right.
give a little more than they might some other time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I believe they do.
And while you're there living, you see the good side in humanity, in that people come by and drop the coin or a box in the whatever, and they say thank you. I mean, they truly care that we're taking the time to do this.
Well, I've had people go out, take their groceries to their vehicle, then come back and put some money in the kettle.
Yeah. Isn't that something? I mean, it warms my heart, you know. It's one of the fun things to do when we ring in the bells with our grandsons, and you know, we last year had some problems with our youngest grandson, who was 5, and he thought he should chase people into Walmart and tell them, hey, you forgot to put money in the bucket.
Uh-oh.
So that's, yeah, so just a warning there. When you have little kids, they sometimes have a mind of their own, or do they?
But it's a cool idea to teach your grandkids, too, about giving back.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we've all been blessed. And, you know, we are blessed by what we have. This is really an opportunity to give back. And, you know, it's 2-hour shift. It's 2 hours of your season.
Well, I know my dad always used to say, you got food in your belly and a roof over your head, you've got everything.
Right. Right. And how sad it is we live in a time where there are people that don't have a roof over their head or food in their belly. And
yeah.
We're blessed with the programs that we have in our community, but again, we all work together to help bring people out of those pits of despair and offer them hope and hopefully change their lives.
So again, folks, if you'd like to ring bells, here's the number to call. 334-0639, area code 507.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
Correct.
Don't you have a toll-free number? I thought
Nope.
you had a toll-free.
Nope.
You don't have a toll-free.
Or they could email the community that they want to ring in. So if it's Faribault, it would be Faribault Bellringer at gmail.com, or Lonsdale Bellringer, gmail.com, Northfield Bellringer at gmail.com.
And just tell you what days they're available.
Correct. And we do have our schedule online this year on Sign Up Genius. It's a 2017 Rice County Salvation Army. So if you can find it on your own, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, send us an email or a phone call, and we'll help get that information to you.
Sign Up Genius. That's something new.
Well, we're testing it. You know, it also gives you the reminder, a reminder email a couple of days before to remind you that you're signed up to Bellring. So,
And people like that reminder.
I'll bet they do.
I've talked to several of them that say, oh, yeah.
One of the good ways of reminding yourself is when you pick Christmas Eve.
yeah, there you go. I know. It's not my rule, Gordy.
No, I know. I understand.
I'm with you. It was like, what do you mean we're not ringing on Christmas Eve this year? It's like, oh, it's Sunday. That's why we're not. We do not ring the bell on Sunday.
That's a Salvation Army rule.
It is a Salvation Army rule. They really take Sunday to heart and don't want
Remember
people
the
working.
Sabbath.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I'd say ringing bells to help others is keeping it holy. Just my own opinion.
Agree.
We only have a couple of minutes left in the show. Ed, you said you've been doing this 9 years. Is that right?
8 years?
8 or 9.
About 8 or 9.
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So,
A long time.
are you with him on this, or did you start sooner or later? Or?
She started before me.
I've been with the Rice County Salvation Army since August of 2005. So for 12 years.
Wow. Obviously, you're a believer in it. And Ed, you're a believer in it.
Yep.
You've seen all the good that it does.
I have seen all the good, and one of my Salvation Army is one of my passions in that the help that they give, but part of it is because it's a bigger organization that stands on Christian principles, and the Salvation Army is responsible for saving my biological father's life, and because he struggles with addiction. and he went through treatment and their treatment program, and it saved his life. So it's part of
I
my
didn't
way to
realize
give
the
back.
Salvation Army had a treatment program.
At the core level, like in the metro areas,
Sure.
the Twin Cities, Mankato, Rochester, where they have a horror,
Yeah.
they have that. We're just a small piece of the pie as a service unit.
Right. A
But-
service unit is part of a service extension department out of the Salvation Army, and where there's different counties. So where there's a county that doesn't have a core, we're part of the service extension. And because Rice County doesn't have a core, we're that's why we do the bell ringing and then
But if somebody were struggling with addiction in Faribault, they could go to the cities
Yes.
correct.
and take the program.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. There's cores even in southern Minnesota. Austin, Albert Lee, Mankato. Those are ones just right around us. Rochester. And they have their doors open. You know, the whole idea is to really help people and help people succeed.
And we could have one in Faribault if we raise enough money, but I don't know what that number is.
You ever thought about putting a kettle at the Salvation Army store?
We have in the past. There is a red kettle by the cash register. There's
There is.
a red kettle there all the time.
Right.
Yep.
We've had a bigger kettle in the past,
But if you're having trouble manning the ones you have now, there's no sense in expanding either.
right. Yep, it would be wonderful if we were like looking for new locations because we don't
Have too many
enough
people signing up, yes.
ringers.
Yeah.
Well, a good idea, folks. I know the Lions over the years have signed up, and some of your other organizations, I'm
Right.
sure, sign up, and churches sign up.
Right.
Yep.
Lions, Rotary, Kiwanis,
Boy Scout, Cub
Boy
Scout
Scouts,
troops.
Yep. And
4-H groups.
4-H, Trinity Lutheran, Christ Lutheran, they're ringing. It's Trondheim
Yep.
in Lonsdale is ringing. Northfield United Methodist is ringing. So it's fun to see churches get behind it and say, you know, let's go do this. And here's the thing is that you could compete with people.
Part of the mission.
You
Yeah.
can.
Get in the mission field. Well, I'm out of time here. Thanks, Gina, for coming in.
Thank you very much, Gordy.
And thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much. You guys have a very Merry Christmas if I
You
don't see
too.
you.